This is Eric from Pack Hacker, and today we're taking a look at the Level 8 Gibraltar aluminum carry-on, which I've been testing for the past 3 weeks. Let's dive in. So as you can see, this is a metal case. It is made of, let me make sure I get this right, aerospace grade aluminum magnesium alloy. So very similar to other aluminum rolling luggage that you see on the market. There isn't a ton of aluminum luggage, but we do have a full post on it if you're interested in that sort of thing. But as you can see, it's pretty shiny. So there's a logo right here, but because of how the light's hitting it, you can't see it. So if I turn it like this, you can see it. But the look kind of reminds me of those guys that walk around on whatever that planet is in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. But I do like how it looks. We have reinforced corners as well on the top here. So you can see it's just a little bit of extra durability up here. I will say that it does get dirty pretty easily. So I did clean this yesterday, and then on the bottom here, you can see that it's got some just stuffed salt and stuff like that from it is winter in Michigan. So it gets dirty pretty easily, which I think is a con, but it's also super easy to clean because it's aluminum and you can just really just wipe it off. So I like that. And it also does add quite a bit of weight. I believe this comes in at about 10 pounds, which is not crazy heavier than other rolling luggage that we've tested, but it is noticeably heavier than some of the lighter models. So if you want something super ultra light, this is not the move for you, but this is very durable. It also looks very sleek, so I like that. So on the top here, sorry if I'm shaking our top camera because this thing is pretty heavy, but we have a nice handle up here, and as you'll see when I let go of this, it just goes back nice and slow. So I like that a lot because I've tested some other aluminum luggage and that wasn't the case. So especially on these side ones here, when you would go like this and this would be hitting the aluminum, it makes a really loud like thud. I'm curious if I can make it do it. Yeah, so on other, obviously it's not gonna hit that hard, but on other aluminum luggage I've tested that don't have this slow close like technology there, it like slams down and is just kind of annoying, especially if you're somewhere quiet. So I really like that. It also stays out of the way when you're not using it. So I really dig that. We got it both on the top and on the side there. On this side over here, we have some feet, so you can set it, as you can see, like it was kind of like rolling towards me, I think, in the intro, but you can set it on its side, so obviously it's not on its wheels anymore. You can turn these like that to make it completely off the wheels, and then it's not gonna roll anywhere, so you've got that going for you. Something to keep in mind with these wheels and these buckles here, so as you can see, they work pretty easily, but these are both plastic, and I think they're pretty adequate, like when you compare them to other ones that we've tested on not metal rolling luggage, but they feel just when you go straight from aluminum to touching these, you're like, oh wow, these feel cheap. But I made the analogy of it's kind of like if you buy a sports car and it has the same tires as your minivan. It's like they're probably fine, but it's like it's not what you were expecting. So you go straight from this aluminum to this plastic and it feels weird. They work great. I haven't had any problems with them. It just feels wrong. So these are TSA safe locks. So you've got that going for you. And these wheels are very smooth, which I'll get into, but just feels a little different than you think it will. So if you are finding this video helpful, make sure you subscribe to the channel, throw a like on the video, and drop a comment down below of what you think of this luggage. But on the rolling, or such a telescopic handle here, we have 4 stops on the elevator. So that's not a ton of stops compared to others that we've tested, but everyone in the office kind of was able to find one that worked for them. Even the tallest one here is pretty good for me. I stand just a little bit over 6 foot, so pretty happy with it. The wheels do well on most surfaces that I've tested them on. We're on carpet here right now, and a lot of times rolling luggage generally doesn't do very well on carpet, but these ones do okay. It transitions pretty well. Come onto the cement here. It transitions pretty well from 2 wheels to 4 wheels. Again, depends on the surface that you're on, and I even took it over some like snow and stuff like that, and it did pretty well. And something that we often test here, because when you're in the airport, like if your flight gets delayed or something like that, sitting on your luggage can be very handy. So I'll move it over here. And because this is aluminum, you can sit on this with no problem. It's not gonna bend, it's not gonna buckle or anything like that. I'm not gonna say it's comfortable, but you really just, it feels like a regular bench or something like that. So overall, pretty happy with that. And just the ability to grab this bag is a lot different than some other bags that we've tested because it just has that extra heft. So if you're used to a lighter bag and you just go to grab this, it is gonna be noticeably heavier, but obviously you're gonna be rolling this most of the time and it isn't nearly as noticeable when you're rolling it. So keep that in mind. So let's check out the main compartment. These snap off really easily, especially if you are in a position where you can pop them off at the same time. It just goes like that and you're into the case. That's something I like about hard-sided luggage, is it just kind of pops open, and I dig that. So something, it's probably gonna be really hard for me to see this right now. So I've had this issue with rolling luggage before, but this is a rolling luggage that it's happened to me a lot on, is that the wheels on this one like to sit up, so that it kind of like changes how your bag like sits on the ground. So I like it to be flat like that, and I don't know what it is about the wheels, but they just tend to kind of sit up, and that happens with a lot of rolling luggage. It's just, I noticed it more with this one. So the bag opens directly down the middle of the case, so you have equal sides on both sides. This one obviously has the telescopic handle behind it, so you're gonna lose a little bit of space with that, but sometimes I like it when it's not exactly in the middle, so I can fit larger gear on one side and then put smaller gear on the other. But this worked out pretty well for me, but if I were to have like a big pair of boots or something like that, I might struggle to fit it in a little bit more just because of them being the exact same size and there not being a bigger one. But that's me being super duper nitpicky, so take that with a grain of salt. So we'll start on this side over here. As you can see, we have dividers on both sides, but this one has a zipper. So I have just socks in here right now. This is a great place for still like socks and underwear or stuff like that. You could also use it for dirties. If you have packing cubes for everything else, this could be where you put your dirties. Eventually you're gonna run out of room, but it's a good for at least until you can maybe do like wash it, or one of your packing cubes is empty and then you can start stowing them inside of there. So we have button snaps on this side of the dividers, and we have these little elastic pulls on this side. So you're not getting a ton of compression from these, but they are going to hold the gear down. I have smaller gear on this side and some bigger packing cubes over here on this side. So I will note, just while we're talking about it, that one of these did break, and it's going to be very hard for me to show you this. So I'm going to kind of bring it up here like this and then kind of just pull that up. So this right here broke right there. It's a little snap, and I don't know if it's something that I did. I actually did not notice when it broke, but it did break. It's still working fine, and I don't really see it being an issue in the future, but just, I guess, keep that in mind. You now know that these little tabs can break, and obviously if the tab breaks, you really can't use these anymore. I mean, I guess you can, but it's not gonna hold things in, because if you were to undo both of these, and you were to, like, when you go to open it, it's just gonna fall like that. So not a great sign that that is broken, but again, it could be something that I did. I am very rough on my gear. I'm definitely probably the most rough of everyone here at Pack Hacker on their stuff. So now that I open this up, you can see I just have a big sweater stuffed inside of here, and then 2 of the packing cubes. So this comes with a set of packing cubes, and they're not my favorite, but if you're looking for a rolling luggage that kind of is all-inclusive, this comes with a set of packing cubes that also has kind of a tech pouch and something you could kind of use for toiletries. It's not, doesn't have the 4 or 311 bag or whatever it is inside of it. But if you're looking for something that's all-inclusive, because you get the rolling luggage, you get the packing cube set, and you also get a luggage tag, which I have in the top, and you've probably seen throughout this video. So I have these stowed inside of here right now. They actually fit pretty nicely, and there's still room left over, and you'll see that when we get over to the other side as well. So this is 2 of these smaller packing cubes, and these are removable as well, so you can put those on different things if you want to switch what you're using for what. So obviously this has like a, you know, the toiletries. This one's for cables and stuff like that, so you can switch those around. So I have my tech pouch that I use to carry tech with everything, and then my toiletry pouch. So these are the ones that I typically use. You can see that the size difference. So these are much better at doing a specific job than I think these packing cubes are. But as I said, if you want to be all in on something and just buy one thing, this is a pretty good option, I think. So as you see, lots of open space here and just flat on the back wall, because you just have the metal there. You don't have I'm just completely blanking on the word, the telescopic handle there. So one thing I should note is if you don't use this divider, these are just still kind of here and kind of get caught on things. So not my favorite design, but I always use this with the divider. I didn't really see a point in not using it with the divider. But if we go over here to this side now, we'll pop this off. As you can see, there's no zipper on this one, so this is just straight divider. And I just have a big packing cubes in here because clothes are gonna kind of be able to wrap around that telescopic handle. So I like just putting clothes inside of here and just kind of pushing them around it. So 2 very big areas to stow things. And I think that if I were to use this differently than how I did, I would take one of these dividers off, and that's where I'd put my big stuff, and then whenever I close it. So if I took this one off here, can't really get there right now, so I'd put all my big stuff inside of here, and then when I close this, I'd have all my clothes over there, and then I'd close it like this, and then I'm ready to go. So there you have it, the Level 8 Gibraltar aluminum carry-on. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel. We'll see you in the next one.